Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel Rather Be Reading, and today I'm bringing to you my February TBR. So January was a pretty successful reading month, so hoping to kind of roll that momentum on into February. So as always, we will start off with the library books that I need to get to this month. So I actually only have two that are due back this month that I have to read. So those two are Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie. This is the next book in the Hercule Poirot mystery series. I think this is like book 19 or 20. I'm not exactly sure, but I love a good Agatha Christie mystery, so looking forward to getting to that. Then the other one that's due back this month is Darkness Falls by Kate Tiernan. This is the sequel to Immortal Beloved, which is a series about immortals. And they can be killed, but it's very difficult to kill them, and they don't die naturally, so they grow to be very, very old. And I think the main character is like 400 some years old. The first book got off to a very slow start, but then I ended up really enjoying it, and I think this one is just a trilogy, so looking forward to continuing on, seeing how I feel about book 2. So they're the only two that are due back this month, but I do want to read a couple of other things from the library just to kind of keep on top of things so I don't eventually get slammed by library due dates. So I would also like to get to Giant Days Volume 10. You guys know I love this graphic novel series. This follows Esther, Daisy, and Susan as they traverse their university days, set in the UK. I love it so much. Really looking forward to getting to Volume 10. Seems like maybe Esther's going to be having some issues with love or something in this one, so looking forward to that. And then the other thing that I'm really hoping to get to this month is Lady Helen and the Dark Days Deceit by Alison Goodman. This is the third and final book in the Lady Helen trilogy, which is a YA historical paranormal series. So it's set in the Regency era. It is incredibly well researched. And it follows Lady Helen, who basically in the first book discovers that she's a member of like kind of a demon fighting organization. That's all I'm going to tell you. I really have been loving this trilogy, so really looking forward to getting to this third and final book. So we have those library books. Now to move on to the books from my physical TBR that I'm trying to get to, and I just realized I didn't pull down. So spoilers, the first things that I want to get to is I want to reread The Casket Girls by Elise Arden, The Romeo Catchers by Elise Arden, so that I can then continue on and read The Cities of Dead by Elise Arden. This is some of the books that I set as like part of my reread goal for 2020. So it's the first rereads that I want to get to because I'm dying to finish these. These are all fairly chunky. How big are these? I can't even remember. Oh, they are chunky. This first one's like 560 pages. This one's almost 600, and then the last one is almost 650. Wow, I didn't realize how big those books were until I lifted them, and you can see how like thick and heavy they are. But I really do love this trilogy, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. It is a YA paranormal series. It's set in New Orleans following a really bad hurricane. I can't ever remember if it's supposed to be Hurricane Katrina or if it's just another hurricane of that ilk. And it has witches and covens and vampires and voodoo and all kinds of paranormally goodness, and I'm dying to read this third book, but like I said, I'm going to reread the first two so I'm fully immersed in the series and remember exactly all of the details, so really looking forward to that. I then have two more books off my physical TBR that are my main focus for the month. The first of those is Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This has been on my TBR for ages, and I have no idea. Oh no, it's bent. Oh, that is upsetting. Anyway, I bought this book at a time when I bought two others of these like Orange Penguin classics. And it was in a deal of like buy two, get one free. And there were two that I really wanted, and I think they were, I know one was Dracula. Oh, Dracula and Frankenstein. And then I bought this one to just kind of add in to get the 3 for 2 deal. And I have no idea what this is about. For some reason in my head, I want to say it's a romance. I don't know if that's just because it's got love, but I literally don't know what this is about. How long is this? it's not super long, it's like 420 pages, but it's like, you know, looks quite dense and with small text. So I have no idea what this is about, but I'm going to finally get to it and see what the heck it's all about. And then the other one off my physical TBR that I have is The Messenger by Marcus Zuzak. So again, I'm really not sure what this is about. Cab driving prodigy, pathetic card player, useless at sex. Okay. I literally don't know what this is about. I think it's got something to do with cards. But obviously Marcus Zuzak is the author of The Book Thief, and so I picked this up just based purely off the author. So I'm very interested to see what this is about because I've never read anything else by Marcus Zuzak. So I have 2 books on my TBR this month that I literally don't know what they're about. But these are the next 2 on my like physical TBR that I need to get to. So I'm going to get to them and find out what they are about. And you'll find out when I do my recent reads video and talk about them. So they're off my physical TBR, but it is now time for the TBR teacup, where we're going to pull out one of these. These are, if you missed my last video where I have put in the books that will help fulfill goals that I have for 2020 that I won't naturally get to. Now, as I mentioned, some of these ones that I put to fulfill specific prompts from the Around the Year in 52 books, I may have already managed to read something that checks off, in which case we'll move on to something else. I do actually have my laptop just here with my spreadsheet for the reading challenge, just in case I need to check whether I've already checked off a prompt for that. But let's go ahead and pull one out of the teacup. This is like literally, I love watching people do this. I'm so excited that I'm finally doing this because I freaking love pulling these out. It's like literally, I've been looking forward to this all month. So let's do it. Okay, we have one. Let's do it. Okay, it's Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe, which is to fulfill the prompt of a book featuring an LGBTQIA plus character or by an LGBTQIA plus author. And I know I haven't checked this one off yet, so I don't even need to check my spreadsheet. I know I haven't done it. So this is now going on my TBR. I'll quickly flash a picture up here. Exciting. This has been on my TBR for quite a while. It's a very popular YA contemporary, obviously featuring LGBT characters. I think it's quite a coming of age story. Hugely popular. Everyone who reads it seems to absolutely love it. So I'm excited to finally read it and see what I think of it. So that's very exciting. Moving on to the ebooks that I want to pick up this month. So so first to talk about in the ebook category, to talk about the NetGalley arcs, I only have one NetGalley arc that has a release date in February. So I'll talk about that first, which is Chosen by Kirsten White. It is the sequel to Slayer by Kirsten White. If you just watch my most recent reads video, then you know that I was moving on to this. It is a series set following the ending of the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not going to get too much into it apart from that. The release date for this one is 1 February. So I'm definitely getting to that one. And then there are, even though that's the only one I have due in February, I also have 2 that have publication, not due, that are published. I have 2 that are published right at the very beginning of March. So I want to try get to towards the end part of February. So the first one of those is The Silent House by Nell Patterson. This is a thriller, and it's about a family where I believe I'm not sure if it's the entire family, but at least the parents are deaf. And one morning they wake up to find that the daughter has been murdered. And I believe we're following the perspective of a translator, like a sign language translator who's working with the police to translate between the deaf family and the police, and this is all about the mystery of what happened to this girl, and it just sounded really interesting. So the publication date for that is 1 March. And then I also have one that I haven't talked about yet, so spoilers for my January book haul that I was approved for this month, which is Bad Bachelor by Stephanie London. So this was a bit of an error on my part. I requested this one because, as I've mentioned a bit in recent videos, I'm trying to get into reading quite a bit more romance in 2020. And so I saw this on NetGalley and it sounded really interesting, and so I requested it and I was approved. I should have done more research into it on Goodreads first, because the publication date for this one on NetGalley is 3 March. But from what I can tell, once I actually looked at this on Goodreads after I was already approved for it. I believe this is like a re-release of a book that has previously been published, and it's the first book in a series. I think it might be a trilogy, and the entire trilogy's already been out. It doesn't mention anything about that anywhere on NetGalley, which is a little bit frustrating if I'm being honest. But I presume that it's probably going to be a companion novel, so it's not as if probably once I read this I have to read the others, but it's just a little bit frustrating that I didn't realize that before I requested it. But this one is about there's a app that has all of the bad bachelors. So it's not just about like the most eligible men, it's about like the eligible bachelors, but the bad ones, all the notorious bad boys. I think it's New York City, but I could be wrong. All the notorious bad boys in this city. And the main male character is the most notorious bad boy bachelor. And he is also a PR and marketing guy, and since this has come out, it's kind of affected his career a little bit. But he decides to help I think it's a library or a bookstore or something that's failing, and I believe it's about a romance between him and the person who runs that library or bookstore or whatever. So it sounded intriguing, but like I say, a little bit frustrating that it turns out to be the first book in a series that's already been entirely published. But it may be, to be fair though, it may be that maybe they were self-pub and now they've been picked up by a more mainstream publisher, in which case, good on the author. And then I'm going to put on my TBR, because those are 3 NetGalley books, but I do want to get to at least 1 Kindle backlist book, but I am trying to prioritize my NetGalley arcs and getting to them in a timely fashion. But I would also really like to get to Silent Child by Sarah A. Denzel, which was on my TBR last month. If you watch my wrap up, you know that I didn't get to this book off my TBR. This is another thriller about a woman whose son went missing, I think when he was like in primary school, elementary school, whatever. And he went missing, believed to be drowned. And it's several years later, and I think he would now be like 17 when he's found. And he didn't drown. I think she's now like married and having a baby or something with a new person when he's found. But I believe that he's mute now, and it's all about her trying to figure out what happened to her son, you know, back all those years ago and where he's been. So I said, I've heard pretty good things. This book got really good reviews when it was first released a few years ago. So I wanted to get to it last month. Hopefully I'm going to get to it in February. And then finally, to touch on the audiobooks, I used to always say I'll get to so many more audiobooks than these, but I haven't been getting through anywhere near as many audiobooks. I only got through 4 last month. So I'm just going to talk about the next 3 audiobooks that I have kind of queued up from my library that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting to this month. So the first of those is Ask Again, Yes by Mary Beth Keane. This I don't know too much about. It's a literary fiction, I believe. I believe it follows a family. In fact, I think it might follow 2 families who are neighbors and are best friends, but then there's something that happens that shatters their world apart, or secrets, or I don't know, something about that. I think this one might have been nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award maybe, and that might be why I'm reading it. I might have not, I think I had this flagged to read, and then when I was doing my prompts for the Around the Year in 52 books, I saw that I had this available on audio and that it completed a prompt, because one of the prompts is always to read a book that either won or was nominated for a Goodreads Choice Award. Anyway, I've got that book lined up. It's the next audiobook I'm going to be listening to. I also have the audiobook for The Flight Attendant by Chris Bojalian. I'm probably butchering that, I apologize. So this is a thriller. It's about a flight attendant, would you believe, that is, I think, a bit of a party animal flight attendant. I think she is a massive binge drinker, drinks really heavily. And one day she wakes up, I think she's in Dubai, and she wakes up and she's partied a bit hard. She's with a man, but when she wakes up in the morning, the man is murdered in the bed next to her. And it's about that. And it's probably going to have the unreliable narrator trope, because she's obviously got alcohol problems and she doesn't remember the night before, whatever. This sounds very familiar to a movie that I've seen. And I want to say the movie starred Jane Fonda, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's an intriguing plotline, and I'm interested because I love thrillers. And then the final audiobook that I'm hoping to get to is The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring, which, if you've watched my channel, you know is an audiobook that I attempted last year and read quite a chunk of, like, because it's a longer book. It's like a 16-hour audiobook. I read, I think, like 30 or 40%, I can't remember, and then DNF'd it, but wanted to give it another go. And it's finally come back in, and I'm going to try give it another go. So it's a thriller set in South America at a boarding school, and it's like a paranormal type thriller, I think. It involves like ghosty elements. You would think I would know because I've listened to a chunk of it, but one of the reasons I DNF'd it was because I was not focusing on the story, and I literally had no idea what was happening. So I'm gonna give this another go. Hopefully second time's the charm, or will I end up DNFing this one again? Who knows? But those are all of the books on my TBR. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, if you've got any thoughts on them. Did you enjoy the TBR teacup? Like, seriously, I'm so, like, I want to pull more out each month, but the parts of me that thrive on a really structured TBR of working through my TBR chronologically, which just is the way that I work and gives me so much joy, which sounds strange, but it does, and the part of me that takes so much joy from doing this, they're warring with each other because I just want to, like, pick my whole TBR out of the teacup, but one book each month is enough, and we need to be restrained. But let me know what your thoughts are on the TBR teacup. I hope that you enjoyed my enjoyment of it, because I really do love it. Or let me know if you've read any of these books that I've read, what your thoughts are on them. Should I be looking forward to them? Should I be wary of them? Let me know. Or let me know what books you guys are planning to pick up in February. I would love to know. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys!